everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today I'm seeing another show. Now, have I been on a hiatus for 3 weeks? Yes. Have I had a video filmed and edited pretty much entirely for those 3 weeks? Also, yes. I just haven't had the motivation to post, although I guarantee this video is going to go before the other one, so sorry about that. But today, I'm seeing Witness for the Prosecution, the Agatha Christie play. Now, I've wanted to see this show for ages, was on my list since I saw Mousetrap, which was back in May. And I found out that if you're under 26, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can get £25 tickets to go see it. So I took up that offer and I went. Also, if you're wondering why I look like this, I have just come back from a full day at Erdang. It's like 5 p.m. I finished at 4. Just had like 6 hours of straight dance, so I'm absolutely knackered. But we're pulling through and we're going to see the show because I've wanted to see it for ages. Also, the belly bun is still in and I'm kind of tempted to keep it in, but not right now. Also, I'm currently only wearing one sock. And sock and tight. This is tights because I've lost my sock. I don't know why I just showed you that, but you can tell what kind of hysteria I'm in right now. This is what Thursday does to me, especially because I have a 5.5 hour break tomorrow. But the theatre's a little bit further away. It's right near Waterloo Station, whereas the other ones are nearer Covent Garden, so it's going to take me a little bit longer to get there, but not barely by much. It's only like half an hour, but I have quite a few things to do before I leave. The show starts at 7:30, which I will have to double check, but yeah, I guess I'll see you then. Okay, this is the outfit. Yes, I did keep the ballet bun in. I just re-gelled. Oh, I'm falling over. So this is from Shein. This is from, I want to say Bershka, but I'm not sure. These trousers are from Primark. Literally were like 18 quid, wear them all the time. And then I was going to put my boots on, but I've just put my trainers on for ease. But I have to go now. It's actually 6:30, so I've got an hour and it takes me half an hour to get there. But I have to pick up my tickets from the box office because I have to prove that I'm under 26. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'll see you soon. Oh my god, the tube was so busy and it's so cold. I'm cold. It's officially winter. You know, sometimes I forget London is a major city where people live and a lot of people live. Sometimes I feel like I'm just in my own little bubble and I just forget that London is literally the capital of the UK. It's 7 o'clock, so I have half an hour to find it, get my tickets and sit down, which I feel like is doable. It says it's a 7-minute walk from where I am currently. That's not too bad. I do look a bit like an egg. And I also realised that the trainers were probably not the best choice from a fashion perspective, but I have to pick my battles. I have to take jazz tomorrow and I can't be having blisters and jazz shoes. Can't be doing it, so had to pick and choose. So I found the building, haven't quite found the entrance. So that is my current problem. I literally walked past it where it said County Hall, but I may be on the wrong side. Oh, well that's a big thing that says County Hall. I just have absolutely no idea how to get in. Okay, I've been walking around for 10 minutes and then I saw this because I've gone all the way around. And so I'm walking this way and hoping this is the right way. Because I'm getting just a little bit stressed, but hopefully this is right. We found it, lads. We're all good. Now I just need to figure out where the box office is to pick up my ticket. So it's half time, it's interesting. I'm so tired, so tired, and I'm having to put my brain and concentrate so hard. I don't know who has done it, because I think he's innocent, but I don't have someone to fact check, and I feel like I need more info. But it's very interesting, and the direction is something. It's nice for a play that is as old as it is, and albeit some parts where I think are a little bit dated. I think the direction is really modernised it, and I think just being in an actual courtroom really sets an ambiance. I definitely think that as an audience, it is a lot more immersive to be in a courtroom as opposed to it just being set in a courtroom, if that makes sense. I do think I'm probably the youngest one here, or maybe not, but I think I'm the youngest one here of my own free will. A lot of the people here I think are with their parents, and I just come here with myself. But it's interesting, and it's very funny coming to watch this after having the last thing I saw being Old Friends, and me bawling my eyes out. I think I wouldn't be bawling my eyes out here, but it's nice to see something that gets you to think. So yeah. So I've just come out and I have mixed feelings. It was interesting, and obviously I'm going to talk about it in my review. I'm gonna like tell you what I think and stuff, and obviously I'm not gonna spoil the play just for people that might want to see it, and also just for like that's what you do at Agatha Christie plays, you like don't spoil the ending. But the ending wasn't a fan. I thought it was a bit predictable, and I'll get onto it in my thing, but it was good. Like you can't deny it was good, but I'll speak to you in the future.
This camera quality is really bothering me, but I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to deal because it's the best I can do. So, witness for the prosecution. I have mixed feelings. I want to start out by saying that if you know like nothing about it and you don't really know anything about Agatha Christie, I feel like you would really, really love this. But I feel like my knowledge of Agatha Christie impacted my experience because I understand the way that she writes and the way that her stories usually plan out. But I want to stress like the direction was really good, the set was cool, the performances pretty much were all great. Like there are so many good things about this show that even though I feel like this is going to sound like a negative review, just understand that it's actually not. There was just like one thing that impacted my experience, and I'll get onto that. But if you're looking for something that's a bit more like a standard play and something that's a bit different from your typical musical or something like that, this is a good place to start. So as per usual, I'm going to start with the technical elements, and I'm going to say that the set is so cool. Like you're sat in really, really comfy seats, by the way. I feel like that's something that you forget, like those seats, they were really comfy. They were like cinema seats, and they were like quite big as well. I was like, I feel like this chair is too big for me. It was very nice. And like you had a little table if you wanted to like write your notes on it, and like obviously the set, it's set in a courthouse, but the theatre was a courthouse formerly. So like it's cool having like a place where this would actually take place and it being in there, and also just like it just changes the vibe because they don't need to, it just changed the vibe of like the show because it's set where it is actually set, if that makes sense. I feel like I've explained that really badly. And I want to say for things like lighting, I feel like a lot of interesting choices were made, and sound design again. I think that the whole technical aspect of this show is really, really interesting, and like yes, the play is a naturalistic play, but I think they didn't just light it like basic. They thought more deeply about it. And like I said with the direction, I thought the direction was something that was really interesting for a play that is so old and not really being able to modernize the material because of when it's set. I do feel like some interesting choices were made, both in just like the general vibe and in like a lot of the staging, because the staging is a thrust stage, which is essentially a three-sided stage. So you could see from my video, it's like a curved thing. It's a curved audience, so there are audiences on three sides. So obviously you have to play to all sides of the audience, and I thought they did that really well. And just in general, in regards, from a technical standpoint, I do really think that there had been a lot of thought into it, and I really appreciated that, because I think when you have such old material, it can be easy to just light it in the most basic way, and they didn't do that, and I appreciated that. Now, in regards to performances, I would say that there was probably one, maybe two people who weren't my favourite, but apart from that, like, the cast was stunning. Like, I think particularly the prosecution, defendant lawyers, and the solicitor, I can't for the life of me think of their names, so I'm sorry about that, but they were so talented and extremely believable. My main issue was with Romaine, who is the defendant's girlfriend. And I don't necessarily know if it was the performer or if it was the character, because frankly I thought the character made absolutely no sense, and I had no idea what kind of person this character was. I just thought it was really unclear. But they were like the one character in it who felt not real. Like every time they came on stage, I thought it didn't really make a lot of sense, and that there was lots of contradicting things going on, and it really impacted my experience, especially with the ending. I think pretty much all of the performances were really strong. They all trained at good places or have had a lot of theatre credits, and I think you could tell that this cast knew what they were doing and they knew the kind of material that they were getting themselves into. And I do think my biggest issues with the show were to do with the writing as opposed to the actual performances. So don't take what I say to heart in this next one. So I love Agatha Christie, right? I really love a lot of her books, a lot of her stories, but a couple of them I have issues with the ending, and this one was one of those times. Some of the writing in it is a bit dated. Like, there's a section where they're like, oh, can't believe women can have jobs. What's that about? And I'm like, this is not funny. It just feels out of place. But essentially I predicted the ending, but not in a good way. Like, it got to half time and I was like, there are two options. One, he's guilty, and one, he's not guilty. Like, those are the two options that you have. But there is a thing that happens in a lot of Agatha Christie's, and I'm not going to spoil the ending because it's an Agatha Christie, you just don't do that. But I was like, oh, are they going to do that thing where you're like so sure of one thing and then it changes, but with no real reasoning? And I feel like that's as much as I can say without spoiling it. But then they did that, and I can't even explain it, but it was just the last 15 minutes were like so, for me, so anticlimactic. I felt like everything that was happening seemed really obvious, and I think all the suspense that we had from the first act and the first half of the second act was just kind of gone, because it felt like everything that had happened before was kind of futile and didn't really matter. And it kind of felt like if we didn't have everything, if we didn't have all the information and the things that we've seen beforehand, this outcome would have still happened. And like I said, that's as much as I can say without spoiling it. But for me, I just predicted it. And the people sat next to me, there was a couple sat next to me, and they were like, I did not expect that ending. So maybe it is just because I know a lot of Agatha Christie and I know the way that she works, but it just kind of impacted my experience because I was invested. Like, you saw in it, I was like really interested to see what was going on, and like hearing the testimonies of the witnesses and talking to the defendant and seeing all the stuff behind the scenes. I was really invested, but then all that kind of just didn't matter by the end of it, and that was what bothered me. And I know I sound like I'm being really negative, and I promise I just sound like that. I don't mean it to be a bad, like, I'm not saying I had a bad experience. Like, really, up until those last 15 minutes, I was having a good time. Like, I thought it was a really solid piece of theatre, but I do think that the issues in this lie within the writing. But if you don't know anything about Agatha Christie, I don't think that would impact your experience personally. I think it's just because I'm so well versed within her work and her writing, and I've seen different Agatha Christie plays before and read her books and seen TV shows of her stuff. Like, I know how she works, and that's what changed my experience. But I really don't think you should let my experience sway you, because everyone will have a different experience, and I had a good experience, and I don't want that to be like taken away from. I also think I had higher expectations because I'd wanted to see it for like ages, and I kind of felt let down in that sense. But again, it wasn't because it was bad, it was just that last 15 minutes that really changed my view. But I feel that's all I have to say. I feel like it sounds like I've just crapped all over it, but I promise I've not. Like, I did have a genuinely good time. And I feel like I sound way more negative than I'm trying to be. But it was interesting. I think if you just want something different for a day, of theatre, I think this is probably a good way to go, because I think you'd enjoy it. But I'm not going to go on about it anymore because I feel like I've repeated myself 3 times. But if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching this video. You can like it if you like it, and subscribe down below if you feel like it. You can also catch me on all my social media. You can catch me at XWilson on Instagram, HopeWilson with 2 N's and _ on Twitter, and HopeWilson45 on TikTok. So, keep enjoying musicals as much as me, and I'll see you in the next one.